Hey everyone, and welcome back to Joy at Work. I hope you're doing great. It's December 10th, 2021, and only 21 days left in the year. My goodness, how time flies. Fortunately, my Gunners are not doing so great. Two losses on the trot, but mm, fan for life. That's all I can say. Hopefully, we'll have a better outcome this weekend. Today, I want to talk about mindfulness, and I want to talk about it, of course, in the context of joy at work. And I've said in several videos in different ways that the only thing we really control is our response. And a lot of Stoics, a lot of philosophers, a lot of really smart men and women have brought to our attention that there's so many things outside of our control: the environment, what people say, what they do, what they don't do, what happens with the economy, a pandemic, just so many things. And as human beings, we like to think that there's a lot under our control, but that's rarely the case. But what is in our control, or maybe under our control potentially, is our response to certain situations. However, we are often not in control of our response for a variety of reasons. One of the reasons why I think we're not is because we're not mindful. Now, when people talk about mindfulness, they think about it in the context primarily, or many people think about it in the context of meditation, focusing on a single thing, drawing your mind to a particular focus. And I even talk about this in my book on leadership, that mindfulness, in my view, is very important as part of something leaders should do for their mental health, right? So, mindfulness from a meditation perspective matters a lot, but its benefits, I believe, extend beyond just what you get in the moment. I think this attitude of mindfulness really calls us to pay attention to how we're feeling and to take the time to process our emotions. Now, I spend some time on social media, LinkedIn and Twitter specifically, and very often I'll find myself in a position where I want to respond in a certain way. And in the past, I actually have and might have even lost a connection or two as a result of that, right? Guilty as charged. But what I find is that when I take a step back to process how I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, even if I want to invest in a response or in an answer, in many cases, it changes my approach. This doesn't only happen on social media, it happens for me at work. Can't tell you how many times something's happened at work where I've wanted to respond or act immediately. I was told somebody recently that about 10 years ago, I nearly quit on the spot at a job because I was frustrated with something that happened that morning, right? I later on left after maybe 6, 7 months, but mindfulness allows us to process what's going on and to think about it and to act with intentionality so we can respond instead of reacting. And too often we find ourselves reacting in work, outside of work, in life, in social media, in traffic, at the grocery store, because we don't take the time to process what's going on. Of course, there's some times where action and having a bias for immediate, action, and action in the sense of doing something is required. But there are many times in the workplace, especially, where a little bit of reflection, a little bit of being mindful about what's going on and how we want to respond and act will go a long way. So think about it. Think about it. When you're faced with something difficult at work, a situation you don't like, or even outside of work, can you bring an attitude of mindfulness to the situation and not react in the moment? Because response is something that's within your power, under your control. But can you take the time to process how you're feeling, explore it, focus on it, and then decide what to do from there on out? I think if we did more of that, a lot of things that potentially upset us at work probably wouldn't matter as much. They just go. And then for the things where we need to have a response, we just do the response differently, would act differently, would approach it differently, probably approach it more maturely, more collected, and more calmly as well. Thanks for listening in. I hope this attitude of mindfulness helps you find joy at work. I'll see you next time. Bye.